Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be a DIY all the time marquee. I myself will be making a pineapple, but just keep in mind if you follow these steps you can make a custom marquee. Now the things you will need: a poster board. I only need one, but if yours is going to be larger you may need a few more. You're also going to need poster. This is a floppy like material, kind of just like paper. Again, you might need more depending if yours is going to be larger. You will also need spray paint. I will be using both a metallic copper and gold. And then lastly, you'll need a pair of scissors, a pencil, and a blade. You can also use a knife as well. And as always, I forgot to take photos of other materials, so what I don't have photographed here is a cutting board, a glue gun, and the lights I actually used. Now this step right here is actually a recommendation. If you're like me and you need to sketch something out, I would recommend just drawing on a scratch sheet of paper and then cutting it out, then tracing it to your poster board. But if you're great at drawing, by all means, just draw it directly onto your poster board. So once you have your drawing cut out, just grab your poster board and trace it directly onto the board. I did it directly onto the poster board just because I didn't want so many erase markings on the poster itself. So once you have drawn your figure onto your poster board, this is where you're just going to use the blade to cut it out. I'm using a cutting board just because I don't want to rip a hole or mess up the tablecloth or the table under the poster board. If you don't have a blade, you can use a knife. That'll work as well. I would say try not to use scissors, just because if you use a pair of scissors to cut it out, it'll begin to bend the poster board and it won't have like a flat surface. It'll just have a bunch of creases in it. Now you can see after I finished cutting it out through the front of the poster board, I went ahead and flipped it on over and did the same exact thing just so that it'll pop out a lot easier. And that little piece of paper flap, just go ahead and cut that off. And then I just showed you a little bit of a piece of fringe I had. Just go back and just clean it up and cut those out, and then you'll just be ready for the next step. Alright, so once you have the pineapple cut out, the next step would be just to grab your poster. This is the floppy like paper material, and here we're just going to make a bunch of strips. So once you have made your tick marks, just connect them from one end to the poster board to the other and cut them out. So then you should have a few strips of the poster. So the next step is using your hot glue gun, and you'll just be gluing the strips of the poster onto your poster board. Now to begin gluing, just add a little bit of the hot glue onto the edge of your figure, then grab a strip of the poster and set it directly in the center of the strip, just so that you keep a consistency from one side to the other. So if you want the marquee to stand up straight on its own, it won't have a problem and it'll be completely level. I would also say just to glue the strip of the poster just section by section. If you add too much glue and try to do too much at once, it'll dry and it won't hold as easily as it would if you would do it by section. Okay, because I do have some pretty tight corners, I went ahead and cut the strip halfway. Then I'm just going to glue down that end, and I will continue on with the following piece. Now the following piece, right at the end of it, I am just going to bend it and give it a little bit of a flap, so that when I add it to the corner, that flap will attach to the previous poster strip, just so that it'll blend in seamlessly and look like one strip opposed to two. So here I'm just showing you that I go back in and just add that flap and glue it and attach it to the previous strip. Then then just continue to glue on the strip as you did before. And again, I'm doing the same thing here. I am just kind of guesstimating how long I need this piece to be, and then I just go back and cut it off. So after I cut it off, I will continue to do the same thing. I will just glue it into the tightly knit corner, and then with the previous piece, I will just begin to add the flap and then glue it on. Now for the following corner, because it isn't so tight, I'm not going to cut it. All I'm just going to do is just fold it into place there. So when you are going to fold it into place and not cut it, just be sure to fold both ends just to give it a very tight corner. Okay, now here you see that I am ending the strip here just because I basically just ran out. So in this step, because it is ending right at the corner, I'm not going to add a flap to the next piece, just because you won't be able to tell that it's two separate pieces since they're both ending right in the center of the corner. Then just continue to glue on the rest of your strips. Just remember to try to keep them in the center of each strip as possible. If for some reason it doesn't come out too even or level, go back and cut off the excess. Now when it comes to the end of your figure, just cut off as much as you can. Again, just leaving a little bit of excess just so that it'll glue on to the previous strip that you have there. Again, it'll just make it look a lot seamless and more like one piece opposed to two. And afterward, just add the glue to seal all of the edges together, like so. Okay, so here I'm using a pen. You can use a pencil, both shall work fine. I'm just sketching out exactly where I want my lights to be inserted. Mine are fairly close, but if you want them further apart, just draw your dots further apart. Now after you draw all your dots, the next thing you'll do is just ram that pen right through the center of the board, just so you can make a quick little incision, just so when you go back with adding the lights, it'll just be a lot easier. I do also want to let you know that when you are making these incisions here, just start from the front of the marquee, just so the back, when you flip it over, it has the, I guess, the outer layer of the poster board on the opposite side. Then you'll just grab your spray paint and spray paint your marquee. For some reason, when I spray painted the marquee and added the lights, that clip erased. It's nothing really too important to show. Just spray paint your marquee and add the lights and just display it. Okay guys, well thank you for watching and please subscribe.